Remarketer, empowering realtors.
Good morning, and thank you very much for joining me today. I hope if you are anywhere in the GTA, you have had a chance to clear out the snow and get out there. It's been a challenge for myself over the past 2 days, so I kind of know what's going on for many of you guys out there. So hopefully everything is okay, and you're warm and having your coffee right now, and ready to continue with our discussion. So today's session is a continuation of last week's session. So last week we talked about website customization. I just want to reiterate on the fact that we did have a little bit of a chat at the beginning of the session last week. Let's touch on that again. The whole point of me doing this right now is basically two things. It's the beginning of the year. We're still in January, and it's a good opportunity for you to refresh your website. But I want you to consider a different approach maybe this year. Your website's look, your website's branding, your website's content are a dynamic feature of your website, and Remarketer easily enables you to regard it as such. You are able to change your website so easily that it doesn't. There's really no excuse for you to hold back on doing that. If you keep changing your website and updating your website based on different times and occasions and situations and thresholds and milestones of your business, etc., it is it will easily become a very capable tool to deliver the message and communicate whatever the occasion is, whatever the highlight is in your business, and it'll be able to convey that message a lot easier to your clients. So the techniques and the features that we've discussed last week, as well as the stuff that I will continue to tell you today, are your tools to make your website a dynamic vessel to convey the messages that you wish to message to your client, to send across to your clients and prospects. I'll give you a few examples. If today you're sitting in an open house and you're welcoming people to your open house, today the message that your website should convey is your open house, right? So that's what the first thing that they come to your website, that there would, any visitor would be able to see, is the fact that you're welcoming people to your open house today. If you sold the property, and you really want the world to know about the fact that you've had a great sale of a property, that's something that should be front and center on your website. If you are sponsoring an event, that should be the main objective of what your website is sending across. If simply you would like the website to be in line with the environment, the society, the social events, etc., you can give it a winter theme, you can give it a summer theme, you can give it a holiday theme, you can give it a Remembrance Day theme, you can give it a Family Day theme. So, these are all the things that if you dynamically control on your website, you can relate with your clients a lot better, with your prospects a lot better. It's one thing to design a beautiful website and then leave it as is, because after any period of time, that design will be ubiquitous to your website. I'm not saying to remove your branding. Your branding is something that should be continuous. What I'm saying is that you should also be able to give your website a splash of life every once in a while. And that every once in a while with Remarketer can be as, it can be every single day, at least a week, or at least every single month, or a season. So there's not really a lot at stake for you to be afraid to do that. So I encourage you to start doing that more and more, and you will see the difference. You will see the difference how your website resonates with your clients. It's as simple as having a website that is reflecting the season right now. It is going to relate with your clients a lot better than when it's not. So all of that, put into a simpler context, regard your website as a dynamic tool. It's not static. It's not something that you just configure once and leave alone. It's something that you continuously look at as a dynamic tool that is supposed to send across a message that resonates with today. And the social, the economic, the seasonality, the occasions of my business, my clients. These are the things that I want my website to be able to communicate, and you're able to do that with this. So if you had been with me last week, that's amazing. The video from last week's presentation is available in the Remarketer Academy. You can view that on YouTube as well. It is recorded and available to you. So if you haven't been with us last week, or if you want to have a refresher, please go ahead and view that video as well. So I am going to continue today where we left off last week, and finish off all the customization tools that we have. Right. Just a quick shout out to Doug. Thank you for joining us, and as well as Stitch Lovers. So thank you very much for coming in. That's great to have you guys with us, as well as everybody else that's joined us. All right. So let me start by going back to the website configuration tab right here. So it's under website design, website config. This is where we had all the tools for website configuration. So the things that we talked about and we discussed last week was the theme and how you can change the theme and the color scheme of your website. We also talked about the media and how you can change the media on the website. So basically, if I'm going to refresh that, how to upload this logo if you want to replace it with the default thing that we have there, how to change the backdrop over here, for example. If we go to homepage, the artwork for these call to actions, the backdrop behind these sections. These are all the things that we can change and apply based on the branding. So I want to show you one of our clients' websites. Let me see. There it is. Yes, here. So you can see, for example, this is one of our clients' websites. You can see how the branding is implemented across the website. So the hero banner, you can see how they've changed the backdrop over here to be this, carry the same brand. Again, if you want to go to pages like they don't have the title up here, so they've removed the title, for example, up there. So you can see that the branding can be implemented. So these have been changed over here, as you can see. So these are the things that you can change on your website as well through these media sections. So it's just pretty simple. You just select and remove. We also talked about the alternative logo. That's the logo that can be used if you're using a let me go back again to their website here. So you see the logo over here. It alternates between a black or color version as well as a white version. Once you switch the background of the logo, that's what this logo, alternative logo, is used for. So these are all covered in our last week's episode. We talked about the slider, the hero banner, and how we can change the hero banner by adding different touches and content to the hero banner. This is how we built this content for there. Now, one of the things that we discussed last week, and I told you that we have a little upgrade coming in, is the integration with Pixabay. That integration is now in place. So what we discussed last week was that we changed the picture that was used for the background of my hero banner right here. So that's the picture that I chose. I downloaded the picture from Pixabay, and then I added uploaded the image right here with the drag and drop, and then I chose it and selected it. So that's how we basically changed the background here. So for example, if I want to change the background to this one, I can simply upload my picture there, select it, and save it, and that's how the background is going to be changed. Now, this is not a good quality background, but anyways, it is. This is how you can change it. Now, the Pixabay integration is now in place, and you can use that as well. So for example, I can go in here and I want to change the background. So these are the backgrounds that I have uploaded on my system before in the photo library background. But if I want to add anything new, what I can do is that I can go ahead and switch on the Pixabay integration here. Now I can search for the Pixabay gallery there. So for example, let's say I want to give my website a winter vibe. So I can just simply search for winter, and I have a ton of pictures available for me to select from Pixabay. So there's so many options for me to select from. So let's say, for example, this is the one that I like. I select it, it's added to my photo library, and now I can select and change the backdrop there. I can save this. I'll go back to my website and refresh, and there it is. I have a new backdrop available. So as easy as that, this is what I'm talking about. As easy as this simply took a few seconds for me to go in and change the background. Everything else is the same. But now when someone comes to my website, they immediately get something, a message that resonates, right? So right now it's winter, and we're talking winter. We have a winter vibe on my website. This gives the person visiting the website, firstly, it resonates with the person without you really having to say anything. The second thing is that it conveys an important message, and that is that this website is being maintained, is being looked after, and it's such an important thing for you as a realtor to communicate that when you talk to a potential client, one of the things that you mentioned is that I do have my own tools to promote your listing, for example. And the most important tool that you usually talk about is your website. So you want the person who is looking you up and checking out your ability to promote to really come to a website that says one thing right off the bat. And that is, this website is being maintained every single day. It's being managed. It's being looked after. That is the most important message that you can ever convey to a potential client about your website, right? So a social media platform, a social media account that is active is important. Your other tools, such as your ads and anything else that you've got going on the internet, that's important. Your offline advertising, your postcards, and any other advertising that you have available in your arsenal are important. But the hub and the most important, the core of it, your website, is the most important thing that sends across the message of either this is an active agent managing and in control of every aspect of the business, or if this is something, an agent who has things to fill up the empty space, right? I've got a website just to have a website. I've got a business card just to have a business card. And I've got access to MLS. And that's what makes me no better than any other realtor out there. So this is crucial and important, and this is so easy to implement and send across that message, as easy as I just showed you. So that's what I wanted you to really consider when we're talking about managing your website. All right. So if you want to add other slides to your system as well, you can switch on the other slides, and you can manage the title and the subtitle and the buttons, etc. And you can also change the pictures on there as well. So for example, I've now added a second slide. I switched on a second slide, and I gave that one a winter vibe as well. So this is for the instant home valuation. And this is the one that we built last week. So sold over asking, learn about the recent properties sold by our team. So basically this sends us to a property that we recently sold, for example. All right. So all of this is something that can easily be done. Other media can also be changed easily. You can select the same thing here, and you can have the background here change to the same thing as well. You can build your own backgrounds there as well. So a lot of what you can achieve with this simple settings right here is now covered for you. All right, let's move on to the rest of the tools that we have down here. So the next tab that we have available is the Fonts tab. Now, this one might not have so much of an implication, but if you want to have different fonts available, well, different fonts used on your website, this is where you can select those fonts. So if you have fonts used as part of your branding context, you could use them in here as well. Now, the list of fonts that we support here are the web fonts provided by Google. So these are called the Google fonts. You can always search for them and see what are the fonts that are available. You can go to Google Fonts. Here. These are all the fonts that we have available. You can check out the fonts right here and how they will look, using different fonts, the scripts, how they would look like. All of the fonts available on Google Fonts are available here, and you can use them for two sets of your website texts. The body font, sorry about that. The body font, as well as, let me put this on Do Not Disturb. Good. As well as the header fonts. So the header fonts are any titles, anything. So these titles, for example, if you go to a listing, let's say If we go to this listing right here, we've got headers as well as body text. So these are the headers, these are the body text. So all of these can be configured here. The font, the font size, the font weight, the body font color, as well as the title font color. So these are the colors. The weight is basically how bold the font is. You get a sample of how the font looks like over here as well. All right, so that's the fonts. I'm not going to wait there anymore. Let's move on to the extras. Now, this section is a little bit more of a basically a technical section of your website configuration, and it's important for you to understand each one of these to be able to manage your website's functionality. Now, there are two things over here at the very top. We've got the website tag name as well as the website tag description. Now, the website tag name is basically the title of your website. So when you go to your website right here, you see here at the very top, there's a little title here. You see that? It says Home Mary Clarkson, which is the name of our demo account here. Connect with local Richmond Hill Realtor. That's the title right here, which is mentioned in this section at the very top. That's exactly this, right? So you can change this to what you want, and you can use keywords like this in the title of your website, which has a direct impact on your search engine optimization. So this is a great thing for you to consider, to change and make it this, exactly what you wish for it to reflect. Remember, this is just a title. It can't be too long over here. Then we have a tag description. So the website tag description is a description of your website. Again, this is crucial to your search engine optimization, and you can change this to whatever you want. This one can be a little bit longer. A very short paragraph can be used over here to explain and describe your website, your business, and your website. To give you an example, if we search for anything, so let's say I'm going to search for, let's say, open box TV for sale. Anything that you search for on Google, you see the list of results have two things: a title, that's the title, the website tag name basically here, and then we have a little description. You see the description here: North America's leading specialist and supplier of open box and manufacturer refurbished and certified electronics and art. So when I'm looking through the results here, this is what I'm reading. I'm reading the title as well as the description right here, and then deciding which one resonates best for me. So these two are exactly these two: the tag name and the tag description of your website. So make sure you update this to reflect exactly what you want to be reflected there. This is what's going to be indexed by Google first thing off of your website, as well as it is going to be the first thing that Google is going to display to the viewers out there. So you want this to resonate immediately without too much of a fuss. So for example, here, if someone searches and my website comes up in the search result, one of the things that is mentioned here is connect with a local real estate Richmond Hill Realtor. So if the person is really looking for a realtor in Richmond Hill, the possibility of them seeing that keyword right here and deciding to click on my link is higher than if it doesn't say and resonate with them. So that's how we would like this to achieve. Now, one of the things for not just SEO, but pretty much any marketing campaign that you want to run. A rule of thumb is this: stick to the point, be specific, don't generalize. The more general you are, it's easy to think that, you know what, I'm a realtor that can sell and buy anywhere in the GTA, or even more. I can sell and buy anywhere in Ontario, for example. If you're registered in Ontario, if you're registered in British Columbia, you can sell and buy anywhere in the province, or anywhere else. That is true. But when you're advertising, if you're broad and general, your chances uh, of um, you know, scoring an actual qualified lead is less and less if you generalize and broaden your audience. It's much more um, efficient if you specialize in target a niche audience. So that's the same thing with your website as well, and your search engine optimization strategies as well. You don't want to generalize. You want to um, uh, specifically mention your specialties. That's how you can really uh, increase the efficiency of your marketing activities. All right. Now, the next thing that we have on this page is the property detail log. So if you hover over this eye over here, you're going to see the description of what this really does. So it basically limits the number of times a visitor can view the property detail page before a pop-up requires them to register. So to show you, let's say I can go to a search and I can start searching properties. I can click on this property. I can view the property detail page. Then I may like this one. I'll click on this one, so on and so forth. So I can see all these properties as I'm browsing around. So there's no limit really to how many properties I can view. Now, if I change this to, let's say, 1 or 3, the system allows me to watch and look at 3 properties. After that, it is going to stop me and ask me to register before I can continue to view property detail pages. If you put it on always, it will always ask for registration before I'm allowed to look at property detail pages. And it can go all the way up to 10 properties before I'm stopped and forced to register before I can look at property detail pages. All right, so this might make sense for some of you out there who are that your policy is for you to be able to get subscriptions on your website. But please remember the fact, it's the reality that users know that they can access property details on the internet. There are many different apps and many different websites that provide the property detail information. And therefore, this could be a double-edged sword here. There could be a blessing to it, that you can get some subscriptions on your website, but there could also be a curse that it would repel people who are on your website, because as soon as you prompt them for registration, they say, okay, so you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go somewhere else and continue my browsing. And that somewhere else is just a Google search away, and they can find other websites. So if you really ask me, unless it is really, really important for whatever campaign you're running to have the website limited for access, my approach is usually a liberal approach. If someone's on my website, let's make the best of it. Allow them to utilize my website and let them get used to my website so that they can come back to my website. My number one objective is to be able to deliver services. And if that's happening through my website, let it be before I can really force them to do any transaction with me. Some of you might think that your website is not generating leads, and if you do that, then your website starts generating leads. That's true, but your website is generating the same leads anyway. So it's not just the fact that you're forcing them to register here. If they use your website long enough, they might call you afterwards, or they might run into you afterwards, or they might be more receptive if you door knock on their at their home later on. So the effect is there anyway. So this is what this little thing does over here. I see. Okay. Let me just quickly. Hi, Jennifer. Thank you for joining me. I see what you're looking at is that you're on the vertical orientation of the video, and that could be a little bit tiny. On YouTube that you're watching, you're able to switch to the full screen orientation as well. The horizontal widescreen, full screen orientation. If you switch to the full screen orientation, then you're going to have a bigger screen, and it's going to be a lot more clear for you. So that might help you there. So try to see if you can switch it over. On YouTube, both versions are available. You can either go to the horizontal or the vertical orientation of the video for it. So try to change your viewport. You'll get a much bigger view on the system. All right. Jeff, I'll come back to your question. All right. So let's continue. The next section is languages. Again, I'd like to let you know that we're replacing this with a more modern AI-based approach, but this is pretty straightforward as well. So if you go to your website, you can see the list of languages here. So the list of languages displayed here on your website, which are going to change things. For example, if I want to change this to that, you can see that the menu items, for example, are changed to the language that I chose. So anything that's default on the website in terms of call to actions, forms, buttons, etc. So all of these are going to be changed to the language of your choice. So you can select the languages that you want to be available on your website from these languages. Now, this is a little bit of a static approach that we had back in the day. So as I mentioned, we're going to replace that with an AI translation on your website, which is a lot more capable, and it will allow you to have a much more inclusive options for other languages on your website. So stay tuned for that. It will be launched really soon. Now, the other two items that we have here are the custom search and the market reports. Now, these are two tools on your website that can really help you convey the expert message that I was just talking about on your website. So you're an expert in certain areas, and you want to really reflect that on your website. So when someone comes to your website, they would see that you're an expert in Richmond Hill area, for example, or if you're expert in London, Ontario, or you're an expert in certain areas of the market. That's what I mean. You really want to reflect that. You want to stay away from the fact that, yeah, I can buy and sell anywhere, but I'm really specialized here. So, and this is where my bread and butter is. This is where my focus is. This is where my advertising is. This is where my clients are. This is where I live myself. So you really want to be able to promote that as a realtor, the local expertise that you carry, to be able to create that bond with the prospects and the clients. Now, the custom search basically allows you to, let's go back here. Okay, so the custom search is a section on your homepage, this area, which you're able to select 4 different areas where people can start their search automatically in, right? So basically, you will select the areas that you are mainly focused in and you have experience in, you have purchased and sold properties in, you have clients in. That's very important for you to be able to communicate. So if I'm on this website and I'm looking at great neighborhoods, great homes, I'm seeing 4 names here, and that 4 names really sets into my perspective of your services, and it is directly sending across the message that these are the areas that I'm focused in, and I hope that you're interested in the areas that I have my expertise in. So that can be configured right here. I have these areas available, and I can add any area here. So now, the way that it works is this. Let me show you this. When I click on this button right here, it says Markham, right? So what it does is that it centers my search map in Markham, and it starts the search from there. So basically, that's Markham. You can see that Markham is really centered in my map, right? So if I go back and if I go back here and I click on this one, let's say Aurora. Now, Aurora is at the center of my map. Now, I have a little bit of a flexibility here. So for example, here I have selected Toronto beaches, right? So as long as my search entry here can be found on Google Map, then it will work. Now, Toronto beaches is not a city like Markham or Aurora or Vaughan, but it's basically a neighborhood, an area within the east end of Toronto. So if I go back here and I click on Toronto beaches, so the system will now focus on those areas if it finds it properly. And I can search in that area. So this one, for example, right now is not in the correct spot. It's mainly looking at Toronto. Toronto is the city that has been selected over here. Let me see if I select the beaches. You can't find that. All right. So when I click on Toronto, you can see some of the options here. So let me try the Midtown, Toronto Midtown. As long as it generates a okay. See, this one kind of worked now. So we're at the Yonge and Eglinton area. So that's pretty much the Midtown area of Toronto. So basically, try to look for what you have available here. So these are points that can be searched on the map, and then goes from there. So you can pretty much put in any city that you wish to have. So if I go ahead and change it to Pickering. It searches and gives me an option, so I can save that and make sure, if we go back to extras here, that the province is also selected properly. Oh, let's go back here. And if I click on Pickering now, there it is. It's now centered on Pickering. So basically what this does is that it centers your map on that location. So select your areas of expertise here. The next section is the market reports. Now, this one is a little bit more limited than that because this basically needs to point to a map, but this one needs to be able to generate statistical information. So the market reports are what will be shown up here. So for instance, if I go to Newmarket, I have the market reports for Newmarket generated and displayed over here. There it is. So we've got the market statistics made available. It's not loading yet. There. So I'm not going to get into the statistics. We do have a video on how to read this statistical information, but these are all the stats generated for Newmarket and made available. So you have all the statistical information for Newmarket generated. So you can't obviously do this for anywhere that you wish. It has to have we have to have the statistical information in our database. So for you to be able to generate that, you're going to be able to search for the area that you want. So for example, I'm searching for London, and the system will look into the database and find out where it can create content and can create statistical information based on the data that's available in the database. So you can see, for instance, the City of London by its board has been broken down into different sections: London South, London North, London East. We also have a collective London option in there as well. This is the same approach that we have in Toronto, for example. So when you search for Toronto, you have different options here. You have Toronto C1, C8, C13, C10, Ws, all of these. So these are all the different sections of the greater city of Toronto for that we can generate statistical information on. So if you really want to specifically mention your area of expertise, you can go ahead and select these areas. And we have also created some collective areas of Toronto that basically, for instance, Toronto beaches would be a bunch of these Toronto E numbers, Toronto Midtown or downtown. So if you want to have a little bit of a sectional approach to it, you can also select those as well. But you are limited to what you have available in this list right here, and you can't really go beyond that. There are some cities or towns that are small and they don't have enough sales generated in them so that we would be able to generate statistical information. Those would not be included in this list. So go by the options that you have in here. If I go ahead and let's say select Toronto C13, for example, this is what I will have right here. Other than that, you're going to be able to find your cities and save that. So once I save that, if I go ahead and refresh that under my market reports, now I have Toronto C13, and I will have the market analysis for Toronto C13. So you can see that the number of property sales are less now. We have 24 properties sold in the last 30 days compared to a bigger town, to a bigger city. So these two configure what two important tools on your website: the market reports as well as the default searches. Now, one thing to also consider is this: once you configure this, let's say that the first city that I have configured in here is Markham, right? So that's the first one that I have here. If someone comes to my website and simply clicks on the search button at the top, it will automatically default to the first item that you had selected there. So you can see the properties that are being loaded are in Markham. So it looks at your configuration to give them the first default. Again, it is sending across the message subtly that your expertise lies in Markham. So this basically tells your website how to behave when it comes to search options. All right, perfect. So let's move on to the next section here. The next section is the sections. This is where we can customize different sections of the homepage. Now, for example, you do have some a lot of content available by default on your homepage, but you might want to create some custom pages like this one, for example, which is a custom page, a custom section added to the website. It's not the default section. All of the other ones are default sections of the website. Now, I will come back to this customization. Let me see the time here. Yeah, it's 11:18 right now. So we will have another session on how to customize these sections. But basically, you need a set of code in order to create a little section, a little custom section on the home page. Let's move on to the homepage configurator, as well as the main menu, so that we can finish off these two. And then I'll have another session on this section of customizations. All right. So on the homepage tab, these are all the different sections on your homepage. We have a slider, and then we have a custom section 1. The custom section 1 is right here. One of the custom sections. So does it show or not? Then we have the featured properties and new development and pre-construction plugin. And then we have the call to actions. You can go back and see all of these on the homepage. We have the sliding banner. Then we have a custom section that's empty. That's why it doesn't show here. Then we have the properties, the featured properties, the pre-construction properties, the call to actions, so on and so forth. So after that, we have the market report, and then we have the default search. So if we scroll further down, we have the market report, and then we have the default search, and then we have services. This one is empty again, so it doesn't show office listings. So these are the services, exclusive services. Then we have the office listings down here. Then we have the testimonials. The custom section 4 is empty as well. It doesn't show. Then we have the testimonials down here. Then we have the useful tools, custom section 5, which is empty, and then the recent news. So if I go back here, we have the useful tools and recent news. So these are all the different sections on the website. So for example, let's say I would want to show my office listings a little bit higher up on the homepage. So what I can do is that I can go in this section here, and I will find the office listing. It's right here on the right hand side, the office listings, and I can move that up, let's say right after the featured properties, right? So I'm moving up the office listings right after the featured properties. I save that, and I refresh my homepage now. All right, so now we have the featured properties, and then right after that, we have the office listings. So now it's moved up in the list. Let's say you want to remove a section. All right. So let's say you don't want this section to show, right? So this is the custom search section. Let's find it. It's called default search. There it is. What you need to do is to click on it, and then you'll be able to remove the default search. So I removed the default search from my homepage. Let's save it. Come back here, refresh it. That's not here any longer. You want to add a section here, which you had removed or may not be available by default. You can then go ahead and add it in again. So default search, I can just click on add, and it'll add it right here. Let me probably need to refresh. Homepage. Do we have default search here? Default search. Maybe it is. And it should put it back in there. Let me see if it did. Or maybe we just realized a little bug there. No, it didn't put it back in there. It's part of the default settings. That's why it didn't put it back in there. That's a little bug. We're going to have it fixed. But basically, by clicking on this plus button right here, you're going to be able to add the sections available. So these are all the sections that we have. A lot of them are default sections that we have on the homepage. Some of them are custom sections, which are there, space holders there for you to add custom content to your homepage as well, which are configured in the sections tab right here, which we will come back and I will show you how that would work. All right, now finally, the main menu section. So this is where you can configure your main menu. It's pretty straightforward. On the left, well, on the right, you have your menu. This is exactly how your menu is set up. So that's how it is. So for example, you have a tools, and under tools, you have home valuation, listing alerts, sellers info, blah, blah, blah. So we have tools, and these are the sub menus that we have available over here. Now, in order to add or remove things, it's pretty straightforward. You have two sets of content that are available that you can add to your menu. One are system pages. So these are all the pages that are default pages of the system, most of which you already have available on your homepage. So for example, you have the news, the RICO guide, etc. So these are all the default pages that are available, the feature pages, the listings, the sold listings, exclusive listings. These are already available here. So one of the things that I might not have here is the RICO guide, for example. So if I want to add this to my website, I can just click plus, and you can see that it shows up under here, RICO guide. I can move it to where I want it to move to be moved. So let's say I want to, let's just save it right here. Save. I can refresh that, and you can see that the RICO guide is now added in here as well. So for those of you who want to have this on your website, you can add that to your website just like that. So that's for the Ontario Realtors. Now, if I want to move that, let's say under tools, I could just simply move it under tools and save it right there. So now it's not here, but it's available under tools. So that's how I can configure my menu on the website. Now, the other thing is that you also have custom pages. Now, we do have videos on how to make custom pages. You have a custom page builder option down here in your website. I'm not going to get into that, but these are all the custom pages that I have built. If I want to add that custom page to my menu, then I can go ahead and add it in. So let's say I've built a custom page called Investors Hub. I want this to be displayed on my website menu. So I can go ahead and add that to my website menu here, refresh that, and now I have my custom page available in here as well. So this is my custom page, whatever it is that I had built before. All right, now you can also add a custom link to your main menu as well. So let's say, for example, I want to add a list. Let's say I have an external website, or let's say I want to link it to whatever, TDSB, for example, right? So Toronto District School Board. I just want to add something in there. Let's remove this Investors Hub. You just click on it and you can remove it. And instead, I'm going to add a custom link. So this is going to be called TDSB, Toronto District School Board, and that's the link. You just add that in, just like that. I have TDSB added in here. I can save that, and now I have TDSB here. You click on it, it'll take you to the TDSB board or any other website. Your sponsorships, your boards, external websites that you may have, portals, your brokerage website. I don't know, somewhere where you have your reviews there, a portal that you're using for your clients, whatever that it is that is external to the website, you can add that using the custom link as well. Now, at any point, if you wish to just go back to the default settings, you can just click Load Default and save it, and the website will go back to its default settings for the menu, and you can start from scratch again. All right, let me stop here and answer a few of the questions, and then we will end up our session right there. All right. So good morning, Jeff. Thank you for your question. So you were talking about the QR code that pops up for HomeSpot. If you do not subscribe to HomeSpot, this is, yeah, basically this is an app that we have, HomeSpot, which is, this one is basically 2, which pops up on property detail pages. So if you're not a subscriber, so this is firstly, it's a great tool. If you haven't subscribed yet and haven't used it, I really suggest that you try it out. But if you're not a subscriber, it shouldn't pop up on your website. Based on your question, I'm guessing it does pop up on your website. So we will take a look at it and make sure that it doesn't if you're not a subscriber to HomeSpot. So thank you for putting that out there. But otherwise, if you're a subscriber to the HomeSpot app, when people come to your website, they're going to be able to see that. Once they scan that, the property is going to pop up on the HomeSpot app, and they're going to be able to continue their research on the app with the special tools that we have available on the app for them. So we'll talk about the mobile app maybe in a different session, but thank you very much for mentioning that, and we'll take a look into it. All right, your next question is talking about the link builder. Is it possible to change the generic image that looks like a house? So basically, in the link builder is a little bit limited right now. I suggest that you use the custom page builder. You have all the features that you have available with the link builder and more to build a custom page that does the same thing. And there you can customize and change anything that you want. The link builder is basically for a quick way for you to be able to generate a link and use it without having to go through any sort of a customization. That's why we don't have that feature available. So I would suggest that you use the custom page builder instead. There are videos on it. Take a look at it, and you can pretty much build exactly the same thing that from a link builder tool, but with full capacity to customize it, make it look the way that you want it to look. All right, and the Pixabay integration is not showing on my side. Where can I find it? Okay, so it's not on your website, it's on the back end. So it would be in different areas. So for example, if I go to my photo library, there's the little Pixabay button right here, which you can search for different keywords and it'll show you Pixabay results. So that's there. Anywhere that you would be changing or adding content. So let's say if I go to my website configuration, to my media, and I want to change a picture here, I have access to Pixabay. I can switch this on so that I can start using Pixabay rather than my already available pictures in my photo library. Other areas as well. So let's say if I'm doing news and blogs and I'm creating a new blog here and I want to select an image there. Oh, this one doesn't have it, obviously, because this is a thumbnail image, but not here. But anywhere else that you would have access to importing images, that Pixabay would be there. But the main thing is that you can go to your photo library and you can add images from Pixabay here. So let's say a luxury property. You can search for images here. Once you add this, so let's say I want this one. Once I add this, it'll be added to my photo library and it's saved there. So if I go to news and blog and I want to use this as my thumbnail image, I can select that as my thumbnail image, as you can see over here. So that should be available there. If you're not seeing it, just refresh your website, your console a few times, and it should definitely pop up. Good morning, Angela. Thank you for your participation. Can you please go over again how I can change the text in the About section, right? So if I guess you're talking about the About section right here, for sure. I'll show you how you can update this. Pretty straightforward and easy. All you need to do is to go down here under website design. You have a biography section right here. So you go to the bios, to the biography section. Here, you can add, if you haven't added it already, you can add a new profile. Or if you already have it here, you want to update it, you can just click on the gear icon and you can update the text on your About page right here. You can update your information, the text here, you can fully format it, you can even embed videos or pictures, etc. in here. And then you can also go to awards to add your awards in there and your testimonials. You can add testimonials and under testimonials as well. And all of them would be updated on this page. So a full-fledged page with ability to contact you, read about you, see your achievements, and read about your client testimonials. Another question from Jana. Thank you for joining us, Jana. Let me see. In the About Me section, how can you get the text before my contact details? Oh, so you mean changing that before to the top here. So unfortunately, you can't do that. This is the main setup. However, you can create custom pages instead of the About page here if you want to not have this or different things. However, having said that, this is probably something that we would want to enable. So I'll take that as a suggestion. I'll put it in our list over here. I kind of see that it might make sense for us to have a little bit of a different option in here as well. So we might add what you're suggesting as a different option pretty soon. So thanks for putting it out there. Unfortunately, you won't be able to do that right now, but you can create a custom page and have whatever content that you want in any order that you wish, and then replace that with the About page instead of using the About page here. So give that a shot, but we're going to see if we can kind of accommodate to your suggestion here, so we can have a better and easier option for you to just quickly swap it. So thank you for suggesting that. All right, there. So I think we've looked at all the questions. That's amazing. So once again, thank you very much for being with me today. I hope this was informative. Going back to my first point when we started this session, please look at your website as a dynamic tool. It's not a static tool. It's something that you and your clients should frequently visit. It sometimes is really underwhelming, if you want to say that. Sometimes I talk to clients who have a website but have never visited their own website before, and maybe they visited it when they got the website, but they don't know what's going on in their website. They're not on top of it, and that really sends across the wrong message. So you really want to be able to change that this year if you haven't already, and be on top of your website and make sure that it's frequently updated, so you're sending across the message that you want to be sent out to your clients. All right, then. Thanks a lot. It was a long discussion, so thank you very much for taking the time. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you again next week with a different topic. Take care and stay safe.